Hey there, fellow members of the concrete construction industry. Before we get started today, I want to take a moment to address something important. As professionals in this industry, we understand the challenges we face and the constant need for up-to-date knowledge and valuable insights. That's why we're here, providing you with a podcast that caters specifically to our community. But let's be real. Producing the show requires a significant investment of time, effort, and resources, and that's where we need your support. We're embracing the value for value model, which means we're reaching out to you, our dedicated listeners, to help us sustain and enhance the podcast. Think about the value you gain from our episodes, the practical tips, the industry trends, and the expert interviews. We want to keep delivering that value to you, but we can't do it alone. Instead of interrupting your listening experience with ads or sponsorships, we're relying on your generosity. If you find value in what we do, we kindly ask you to contribute what you can. Your support helps us continue producing high-quality episodes that address the specific challenges and interests of our concrete construction community, from supporting the cost of equipment and hosting fees to bringing in industry experts for exclusive interviews. Your contribution makes it all possible. We understand that every business and individual has different capacities to give, and no amount is too small. Whether it's a one-time donation or a recurring contribution, we appreciate your commitment. By supporting us, you become an essential part of our mission to provide valuable content tailored to our industry's needs. Together, we can elevate our professional knowledge and expertise. So please take a moment to visit our website, concretelogicpodcast.com, where you'll find a donation page that makes supporting us quick and easy. Thank you for being an integral part of our concrete construction community. With your support, we'll continue to build a brighter future for our industry. What is the most used man-made material on Earth? You guessed right. It's concrete. Look around. It's everywhere. Sidewalks, driveways, foundations, floors you stand on, and even entire buildings are made out of concrete. So why don't we discuss it more? In each episode of Concrete Logic, we will explore one concrete-related topic with the help from industry professionals that are shaping the future of the trade. We'll talk with suppliers, contractors, architects, engineers, specialists, and even some proponents of competing materials about their views of concrete and their vision of its future. And welcome to another episode of the Concrete Logic Podcast. And today I have Dirk Tharpe with Sakrete. Dirk, will you please give us a better intro?
Thank you, Seth. First of all, I am so pleased to be invited to be on your show. And it's an honor because I certainly know of Baker Concrete's reputation. It's stellar. My name's Dirk Tharpe. I work for Oldcastle APG. And in our large family, we are on the dry mix side, we are Sakrete, which is the concrete and concrete products side. And then we're a Meramix, masonry and stuccos. So.
Right. And we didn't get together today to talk about Sakrete, but we did get together to talk about something really cool that you were a part of, which is the Concrete Combat Show. So we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Usually on the podcast, we talk about something really technical and concrete. Sometimes we talk about the economics of concrete and that's sort of thing. But today I brought Dirk on because this is kind of fun. It's we've had a couple conversations and talked about the show that he did. And why don't you tell us a little bit about it, Dirk? What the show, what was the origin of it? How'd you come up with this idea?
Yes, Seth, it's a really fun story. In 2021, randomly my phone rings, and it's my brother-in-arms, Dave Jackson. He is our brand manager for Sakrete and the Meramix. And he said, I want to pose a hypothetical. What if somebody said we were allowed to do a concrete game show? How would we do that? And I'm like, what? Is this for real? And he goes, to be honest with you, I just got contacted from a marketing group that said in like the past year, right before the COVID had started, a budget had been passed, or there is talk of of doing a game show. And I'm like, wow. So I said, let me think about it a week and call me back. So I sat down and I just thought up, it's 6 episodes and it's a finale. And I just plotted out what each contest would be like and then handed that back in. And then I didn't hear about it for, months went by. All of a sudden, I get a phone call and sets up a meeting where I'm to meet on, I want to say it was Zoom. And they said, hey, we're going to have you interview some possible hosts or hostesses for the TV show and see who you had the best rapport with. So then I knew it was real. And we did that. The lady that I voted for as I was certainly comfortable with was Brittany Goodwin. She is a seasoned actress. And so we had Brittany on board, and then it was time to, we were going to schedule, and it just became the waiting game with COVID, right? So you never knew if it was going to happen or not. COVID got really, really tight. And then out of the blue, hey, can you be in Atlanta the week of April 12th? So it was real and it was on. So that's how the whole thing went. We got there and it was amazing, Seth. It was a gigantic sound studio, just like you film, a movie scene in. And there was the Sakrete combat set with all the props and the tools and the products. And it was, it was a real thing with cameras everywhere, wired for sound. I've not been involved in something that large before, and it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes. I watched the first couple, and then I cheated and I jumped to the end because you were sharing with me that the end you all did it at the World of Concrete, and so I wanted to jump to the end. But anyways, could you talk about how many episodes did you do? And I guess first off, did you record all these last year? Is 2022? Is that right?
It was 2021. Okay. The week of April 12th. And the way, I didn't know this, but the way, I've always wondered when you watch game shows, how can they do that? How can they film so much? What they actually do is they film them back to back to back. So we shot Monday through Saturday, every day into the night to get those episodes in the can. And so that's 6. So 6 episodes were the normal competition. And what we did, we set it up so it has a feel like an Iron Chef kind of thing, where you have a host, but then you've got your judges. So they're separate duties. And each episode takes to concrete or masonry or, whatever the profession. We had folks coming in and they were in groups of 2. So they were used to working together, and they would get the challenge, and we'd unveil it by pulling a blanket or a curtain away. And then the timer starts, and they have 30 minutes to do the episode. Now, when we had a concrete slab versus concrete slab, obviously that became shoot it in the morning. We had to let the concrete set because we actually did pour concrete inside the studio and then come back in the afternoon and start the finishing process. So that's why, as I say, we filmed into the night every episode. And then on that Saturday night, we were done. We all went home. And I remember the first episode came through editing and was unveiled on June 8th of 2021, which I remember that because it's my father's birthday. So that was an unusual birthday present.
That's cool.
The 7th final episode we held, so they timed it where it would release one a month, and we made it all the way to the World of Concrete. And then at the World of Concrete, in our Sakrete booth, we actually filmed live in front of it. We had bleachers set up, live audience, and the finale was right there. So it was really, really cool.
Yeah. So how did they determine, did they have so you were saying, so they bring in, it's a competition. So you bring in two teams of two. So it's a pair of folks versus another pair of folks.
Mm-hmm.
How did they determine who were the competitors? Was that already determined when you were there, or did people
Yes, that was the marketing company. I should say production. The production company. It's amazing all the jobs they have and all the things they handle. And they'll have people that just do nothing but search for the contestants. So that's how we got the contestants. And then what you did was you did contest until you got to semifinals. So you now had two groups of two going against each other. And then those winners became the finals to go to the World of Concrete. So that was all done by the marketing department. The challenge was, Seth, we filmed this during COVID. Now, the vaccine was already out, but we were still having to do this protocol set by whatever governs studios, where they take your temperature and you show your vaccination card and all that stuff every morning. Yeah. So we went through the challenges. You'll notice that we're not having to wear masks because everybody was vaccinated, et cetera. But everyone else out there that you can't see is wearing masks. Uh-huh. So with that challenge, things happened. Like I remember one crew was a masonry crew, didn't get to come because it turned out his son or both of this guy's sons ended up in the hospital. So on the fly, you were constantly adjusting. And then that ended up happening in our judges too. So there's 3 on the judge panel. And what we decided to do was the 2 steadies were myself. I'm your Simon Cowell of the show. And then we have a wonderful guy named Mike Day. And Mike Day of Day's Concrete Floors is he's an influencer through like Instagram and YouTube. He's got many, many videos where he is constantly trying to teach concrete. So that's the mindset we wanted. So you had Mike being the super nice guy on one side, I'm on the other side. And then we ended up picking a revolving judge. So every episode has a different middle panelist. And it ended up being the right decision because then you had new blood, new thoughts, new backgrounds to inject into the judging. So it was really neat how that worked out.
Yeah, it sounds like you were dealing with the same stuff that we were dealing on the construction site. So
absolutely,
very, very, very similar challenges there. And so, yeah, could you talk a little bit about each episode? I don't want to give it all away because we want to encourage folks to check it out. But I thought it was pretty cool because it's a unique way to promote the concrete industry. They did a bunch of different, they did 6 different challenges to get to the finals. And then, like you said, it was a tournament type situation. So if you won, you moved on and you waited for the winner of the other group, right? And then you would compete against them against a competition. So the winners had to win twice. Is that right? They essentially had to win twice to get to the finals.
Yes.
I'm doing that math right?
Yes.
On a Monday morning.
Yep.
All right.
So Seth, let's set the stage. And you just made a phrase that I definitely want to make clear to your audience. Concrete combat is entertaining. I am so glad that we weren't attacked and trolled because in our world, we can get so technical, so nitpicky that you can't breathe and you can't have fun. So we honestly did not have that kind of response. And I was so glad to see that because that's not what this is about. This is what concrete combat's about. And the way that Dave and I designed it is, I don't care if you're a seasoned professional or a one-time do-it-yourselfer. If you watch these episodes while you're laughing and being entertained, you're going to learn 2 things per episode. One is you're going to see some honest mistakes, what not to do, and you're seeing them committed by real professionals. So even the pros make simple mistakes. That's the first lesson. So the second thing is you're going to learn how to do something that maybe wasn't in your repertoire. It wasn't in your bag of professions. So you can be a guy who's a floor guy and go, this is nonsense, I'm not watching it. But yet you may never have done a dry stack wall. So each episode, I encourage whoever's listening from, like I said, from beginners to seasoned veterans, is to set aside that we all have that ego chip about I'm the best and all that. Set all that aside and give it a chance, because I'm telling you, you're going to see something that you've never done or see some technique that works well, and you'll go, you know what, I'm going to try that. So that's what the show's about. The show, yes, it's Sakrete. It features all of our products. As we designed it and got more and more into the meetings, we were like, we're just going to have to use Sakrete, because it wouldn't be fair to bring in other products and then somebody lose and they used ours and liked it better. They're going to say you rigged it. So we kept it just Sakrete for the record. And from there, so the decisions are, hey, behind you are all these different materials. You, as a professional group, decide what you want to do to tackle that challenge. So all the answers are there, but we didn't guide you as to say, okay, you grab this and you guys grab that. Everybody made their own decisions, and that's what made it so educational, right? While it's being entertaining.
Yeah.
So to just lightly go through some episodes. Episode 1, that's our first one, right? That's where COVID hit. So our professional Mason crew was not there, and gosh, we were grabbing folks to have the guts to get on camera and do it. But it ended up being a wonderful exercise to learn how to do a dry stack wall. The team that did that versus doing standard masonry really did a bang up job. And I don't know who all, if you've not experienced surface bonding cement type of a dry stack wall, that's one to watch. Don't get hung up on. One of the things I learned, Seth, for when we go forward is I'm going to pay more attention to wording. They did say we were building a retaining wall. Well, we weren't. It was just a freestanding wall. It's a partition wall. But because they said that word, more folks got focused on, hey, you didn't fill the cells. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. When we're just trying to show, hey, this is how block, these are two ways to lay block.
Right.
Episode two is fantastic. Old school versus new school. You get to see these two young contractors who were nice and sharp as they could be. They made some fundamental mistakes on how to do a resurfacing. Where my old school, the team out of Florida, his name's Concrete Mike. He's a great guy. Concrete Mike actually took the older method where you've got the like a sand mix, right? Everybody makes a sand mix. And he added his bonding agent like he should, and he created the low-cost alternate to how you do a resurfacing. And I think he did 1.25 to 1.5 inches on top of a busted-up sidewalk, and it was beautiful. Some other things we did was we had a banged-up set of concrete steps that were just destroyed, and they had to really rush the two teams to make them look new. We did do a slab pour, right, where your mixer's in there, not the big mixer. This is one of those smaller, like 3-bag max mixers. And they had to pour concrete, and we watched their techniques, mimicking an exterior sidewalk. Another one that I think folks really will learn from is the shower pan episode. Because if you're like me, I'm a concrete guy. How many concrete guys truly are tile guys? To be honest, probably none of us, right? No. We might know stucco, but tile. So this is where you get to see the old way to do a base of a shower pan, and we use sand mix. And those guys, they have to do it right, because we're not telling them the steps. And that one became who won was the one that stuck absolutely to the correct steps, like you're looking at it through the eyes of the TCNA, the Tile Council of North America. So that was really cool. We did a post-setting episode where we actually own a horse farm, and it was regular concrete and they did mix it, versus a fast setting concrete mix. And that was a neat exercise. And at the end, we pulled out the fast set and hit it with hammers to show, that mass does become solid concrete in that particular design, fast setting concrete mix. So, and then I don't want to give the finale away, but it was a doozy. We pulled out some really big concrete pieces to fix there. So all in all, that's what it's about, was have fun. And whether you admit it or not, you're going to learn something by watching it, or you're going to learn something not to do. And that was the whole premise of this thing. Each episode, for the record, only runs around the 20-minute mark. And you'll notice it's pre-cut for should the day come when it gets picked up. We've already got the little, like the Sakrete Concrete Combat sign slams together. That would be where a commercial could fit in there. So it is set that way. But as is, they're on YouTube and free access to anyone.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And what was cool is like you told me before, we were talking on the phone a week or two ago, you were saying everything on here is not like really produced other than the host. You know what I mean? These are regular guys competing here. These aren't guys that you got all dressed up or you picked out actors or something. These are guys that do this type of work day in, day out for a living. And the only person that was, you can really tell when you start watching the episode who's not in the industry. It's the host and the way, but like you said, you need that for a show like this. So that was really cool. And she kind of brought in, I don't know if they wrote the questions for her or not, but she did ask like good questions. She asked you guys, the judges, on what was going on and what the teams were doing. If you had any pointers or criticisms of what they were doing and who was doing better and things like that. She was bringing in those questions while the guys were competing. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Brittany really, she was a trooper. The coolest and authentic thing about Sakrete Concrete Combat is it is live and unscripted. So as Seth says, one person on that whole production had to remember lines, and it was Brittany. And bless her heart, everything was scripted out. She had to, they would have her alone in lights where she's doing a lot of these close-ups. She was the only one in the pressure cooker, right? But she could handle it because she's a professional actress. So when she came back to us, the format's always the same. We start the contest, we unveil it. She says, go. They start doing it. About midway, you'll see me walk out into the audience where I'm looking at each up close, what each group's doing. We don't want to make them nervous, so it's usually just me. Then at the end, and we have that conversation. So those questions are real that she's asking. Those weren't scripted. And the conversations you hear with the judges is completely off the cuff as it happens, natural. And then at the end, you'll see the group of us go by, and we just, we usually leave them with something kind, right? It's kind of like at the end of a baking show, you taste it and go, well, your noodles were a little starchy. So that's the feel. And then we come back to the desk, and then we discuss who's going to be the winner. And then that's off camera, back on camera. Each episode at the end, she announces the winner, and they progress to the next level. So that's the format. But it sounds like, well, I've heard that before. Well, you have, but you've never heard of anybody doing it with concrete and masonry goods. And that was what was so unique and cool, is this is the world's first and only concrete game show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. So now that you got the one season down, are you guys looking at doing additional seasons, or what's the plan?
Man, it's happening this summer. We are this summer. We're going to find some contestants from out there in America, where I'm doing 4 locations for Lowe's Home Improvement, and we're teaming up with Marshalltown Tool and Owens Corning because I'm going to incorporate that pink fiberglass rebar into the repair. And we're simply going to have a contest at these 4 locations. And what's going to be neat is they're real contestants that shop at that store. You know, they're going to be pulled from folks who the Pro Desk are used to. I say 4 for Lowe's. That is a for sure. What is unclear at this time, Home Depot, Oldcastle, for the record, Oldcastle APG is one of the largest vendors for both of these retail stores. So we're certainly going to offer it to Home Depot, and they may do a couple, but it's no one's decided yet. And it doesn't matter, because when we do these contests this summer, the winner of each 4, so the 4 cities will have each a 2-person team represented in 2024 when we film Concrete Combat Season 2. Whatever the rest of filling it out will fall back to the production company, and they'll do the searches across America to get the rest of the contestants. But it's neat that we're teaming up with all these guys to find grassroots contestants. Each group will get to be on there the same as anybody else. And we don't have any details for Season 2, of course. I've not designed the individual day contest yet. That's a ways off. But I have designed what we're going to do in the 4 cities and possibly the others with Home Depot. I do have that design that they've got to fix ready. And we'll film some of those. You know, we'll definitely get some coverage for all the folks that participate. So that'll be just a fun day, but it does live on, and Season 2 will be coming.
Gotcha. And are you going to announce those somehow so folks know like what cities you're coming to, or is this one of those things where, you know, you might be shopping at Lowe's and then Dirk's over there with the film crew?
No. We've got Lowe's will definitely announce, and I mean, they're not going to announce US wide. It may be more you focus on the city you're coming to say, hey, you know, come by here. I'm sure, you know, whatever the events are, we're going to have some stuff happening. We'll do it out in the parking lot instead of making a mess in the store. And so it'll be like a set that moves with us. So it will be published that way. And then, of course, you've got Sakrete.com as far as us keeping national announcement, what's happening where.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think this is a great way to promote concrete. I was thinking someone needs to make some kind of spin-off or something to get the younger kids involved. We've struggled with that in the past, and currently is to come up with, you know, unique competitions to get kids involved with this. And I really like this way you set up the show. Really admire how you came up with the different competitions too. Something like this geared towards younger folks, I think be really cool, especially since you gamified it as well. I think that would draw, you know, the younger generations into concrete the way that we're all trying to do. So we got people that'll, you know, be in the industry after we're all done.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you got to admire and take your hard hat off to all of the excellent work that the masonry associations have done with youth, right? I mean, when I was a kid, they were doing it, and they're still doing it. So it is hard and frustrating that we really don't have a national program for youth to learn how to finish. But yet we can put up brick walls all day long all across America, and those kids end up going to national contests. So I agree with you, Seth. That is something to aim for. But the roots, you got to start somewhere. And I was telling you when we talked a few weeks ago, the way things were, like going back to when I was in my early 20s, and my father in the concrete industry would say, don't argue with the finishers. Just let them pour the concrete. The mindset was so different in that we as an industry let folks ruin our product and then go argue about it later. And so I love that I've seen the evolution in our industry where we don't do that anymore. We go, no, you are doing this wrong. I am not paying for this. Commercially, it's always been regulated, but I'm talking more on the residential side, that things are changing. And that's why I love what we're doing right now at Old Castle Sakrete, promoting concrete education. Now, it's not on the level like with you guys and epoxy injections and all that, but you got to start with the fundamentals. And that's where I'm aiming these programs, is to get you used to concrete and understanding. I mean, what is the worst saying that we have in our industry that drives me up the wall, besides people calling cement concrete, would be, it's just dirt in a bag. It's just dirt in a truck. And that just shows such a total ignorance of the science behind concrete. That's where we have to start, is letting folks know that these are scientific chemical reactions happening. It's amazing. If you think of it that way, it's such a unique product, right? It goes from powder to plastic to hardened. And so anyway, that, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but that's where we're aiming, is to try to create an atmosphere that lets you, I do hope folks that aren't in the industry look at this stuff and go, that's really cool, and give it a second thought. But Seth, you're 100% right. After things get to this level of education, we definitely need to drill down and figure out how can we, as maybe the on the national level, what can we do to get involved with high school teaching units like the masonry guys? And I don't have that answer, and that's way above, that's at the national association level. But that's something that all of us need to give a thought, is how do we do that? It's just not as simple as pulling the kid out of school for 30 minutes, as you know, Seth, because concrete has to set. It's just not. So I'm happy with that. What we're doing is a beginning, but I agree with you, sir. There's a lot more to do.
Yeah. No, this is an awesome, I think folks can check out this Concrete Combat. And like you said, even folks that are in the industry, your family, you can show them this and say, hey, this is what I do day in and day out. Because a lot of what we do out in the field, we can't share with our family and our friends. I think this is a good way to kind of get them introduced into what we're doing. Because if you took them to like a big commercial job site and say, hey, this is what we're doing, that's way over most people's heads. So when you get it down to this level and you make it fun, because this is fun, Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun to watch it. And I think if this is the direction we need to go to promote concrete, I think this will get folks' attention. And that's why I wanted to bring you on the show today, because this is, like I said, I think this is a great way to promote it. Very unique way. And not just going to the schools and trying to say, hey, I need some concrete guys. I need some, I need some finishers. I need you to go out and get in the dirt and get in the field. I think you show them this. And I also, what was cool is that you did most of these inside too. And I think if you get kids interested in doing this type of work inside first, instead of put them outside in the elements, I think this might be the way to go as well. But
yeah, and in season 2, who knows? Yeah. We may pick some challenges out in the field, but I don't know yet. I do want to throw out though, on Seth, you've hit on what is the purpose of this, right? It's fun, but it's a learning opportunity disguised in fun. I also want to let you know that anybody out there listening to this, if you have on the training side, that's like Seth was hitting on, we have on Sakrete.com, you can type in pro tips. They're all on YouTube, Sakrete pro tips. And I've got well over 24, at least 24 videos. And what I did was when we do these, it's a how-to, and it features a Sakrete product, but it is not a Sakrete commercial. That's the key to how we built our learning modules. So I'm saying, and along with Concrete Combat, there's other resources out there such as Sakrete Pro Tips. And they're as simple as how do you mix bagged concrete in a wheelbarrow to how do you top a slab. So we're working on that level too, Seth, to try to help. You know, if nothing else, like you guys, you're professional finishers, and especially in the repair side. Think about all the work you don't have time to get to because it's too small. That's another focus here. Is there so many folks who are used to working with their hands, like the remodeler crew, who could easily take in some concrete repair to add to what they offer. It's just nobody's teaching them how to do it. So that's also where I'm aiming these things, is to help broaden our base of folks that aren't scared to get their hands in some concrete repair and mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. But yeah, I'm checking out. I'm sorry. As you're talking, I went to your pro site here, Pro Tips, and you got it's under the Pro Tips blog. If you go to the Pro Tips blog on that Sakrete.com site, that's where you'll see his videos. And yeah, this is really cool.
Yeah, and we're always adding to that. By the way, that library is constantly. I'm filming new things, and it just takes editing. It takes time. But yeah. We're growing that base all the time.
Yeah, you're a busy guy, Dirk. All right. I think this is a good place to end today's conversation. So how do we get a hold of you, keep track of what's going on with Concrete Combat? What's the best way?
Definitely www.sakrete.com. As the summer goes, there'll be some, like I said, there'll be some little episodes there. But then a big way, if you're having trouble getting to the website, just go straight to YouTube and type in Sakrete Pro Tips or Sakrete Concrete College, and they're all there as well. If you're just not, if you're having trouble getting to the main website, it's okay. You can direct access everything through the YouTube channel.
Yep. And I hooked up with Dirk through LinkedIn as usual, so you might want to check him out there as well. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show today, Dirk. I hope to bring you back, talk about season 2 once we know where that's going. And yeah.
Definitely. Seth, I enjoyed it. And like I said, on behalf of Oldcastle and Sakrete, we appreciate you inviting me and letting me speak about this fun little game show. And it's just, it's an honor. And anytime, I'll be glad to be on your podcast anytime.
Thanks, Dirk. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that concludes another episode of the Concrete Logic Podcast. I hope you got some value out of that episode and learned a thing or two. If you did, visit our website, concretelogicpodcast.com. Click on the Show Support tab and learn how you could be listed as a producer of an episode. Again, that's concretelogicpodcast.com. Click on Show Support tab to learn how you can support the show. And as always, Mike Dunton will take us out.
That alarm always sings couple hours before the sun comes up. Open up the side, put some diesel in the lights and wait till the trucks roll up. Yeah, this ain't how most folks live their lives, dripping in sweat, working overtime. But while they're tying their ties for their 9 to 5s, we're out here changing these skylines with wood, iron, and mud. We work hard for $1, get working hard to